Hey guys, it is time for me to walk you through our old apartment. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I have been complaining about this apartment for so long, and we finally moved out. Today's Wednesday, and we finally gave our old keys to our old place to the new tenants on Friday. So it's just been a couple days that we've been officially moved out, and it feels so good. I can't even explain to you. Well, today hopefully I will be able to explain to you the step up that we have done. We feel like higher in society folk now that we're in this apartment with air and heat and a dishwasher and a working sink, and it feels really good. I always wanted to walk you through our apartment with Zach and like talk a little bit more about the experiences that we've had and stuff like that. So I'm gonna do that today. I have some footage of just like walking through the apartment. I'm gonna show you while I just talk about some of the fun times we had there. I kind of ran out of time to do it any other way, so this is just where we're at right now. So first of all, we were living in more of a college town, and so even from the very outside the apartment on the street, there's just people everywhere all the time, nowhere to park, nothing, just nothing good. And we're in the middle of a bunch of apartment complexes and these old homes, kind of similar to ours, but a little bit more new, that just have people moving in and out all the time. We don't know anybody. It's just a weird place. You're kind of in this weird like limbo, like we're married adults and we're working folk and we have our own place, but we also are in this weird little college town, and like we don't really have a neighborhood. We don't feel like we belong here. Does that make sense? It's kind of odd. So that's the first weird thing. So then you look at the house and it looks really, really big. It is pretty big for a house, but it's split up into 3 apartments. So what you can see from the front is one apartment on the first floor, and then our apartment is on the second floor. And then as we walk around the back, you'll see in a minute, there's another apartment on the first floor that wraps around the back of the house. So it's kind of weird, but it's nice because we all have our own entrances and our own kitchens, and like everything is split up really nicely. It's just really old. The house was built in 1890, and it has had very minor, if any, modifications whatsoever, which made for some fun times for sure. For some reason too, people always ended up dumping trash right in front of our house, just leaving crap all over like the sidewalk and everything in front. So there's always like garbage in the road and like everything like that. It was just not good. We had some neighbors at one time that were pretty good at keeping up with like the lawn care and all of that, but we're really terrible. So like this summer, the grass got like, I kid you not, like 1.5 foot long. It was so bad. So my husband and I were like, well, we should probably try to figure this out. Previously, our old neighbors that were taking care of the yard had their own mower, but they moved out, and so we didn't have one of our own. So we went into the back shed, which I'll show you in a minute, and found the mower that they had left for us to take care of the yard, because that was kind of part of rent, was you have to do like the yard care. And it's a push mower. Now, I didn't even know that this was a thing at all, but it is not gas, not electric, not nothing. You just push it, and the little blades, which were so dull and incredibly useless, would spin around and cut the grass as you pushed it. And so we tried to do that for a long time, and it basically just, instead of cutting the grass, it just kind of rolled right over it and laid it down flat and didn't do anything. It was so much work. Oh my gosh, we were dying. So yeah, after that, we stopped taking care of the yard. The driveway was big enough that each apartment could fit a car in there, and then if they had a second car, they had to park on the road. So I usually would park in the driveway, and you can see my car there, and then Zach would have to find a place on the road, which usually wasn't a big deal, but sometimes it was really hard, and he'd have to park like all the way down the block. It was so weird. There was this one time, I think it was like last summer, where this lady, I don't know where she came from or who she was, would just sit not even near my car, but like in our driveway where I park my car. She would sit there and smoke. And one time I went out to leave to go to my car, and she was sitting behind my car, and she got up, let me leave, and then sat right back down in the driveway. I was like, are you kidding? Like, why are you sitting here doing this? It was so bizarre. She was really nice though. She would wave and smile, and so then I would too, and that was fine. So I wasn't like, scared necessarily, but I was just like, why are you sitting in our driveway? And then I saw her leave a few times, and she would cross the street like she lived far away. So I'm like, why aren't you doing this in front of your house? At one point, we were walking home, and her and another lady were crouched, not in our driveway, but like right next to it behind a mailbox, crouched down smoking, and we didn't see them at all. So we walked by and then they pop up out of nowhere and start to like walk off, and we were scared to death because it was dark and like we had no idea that there was anybody behind the bushes, behind the mailboxes. It was like probably a month period where I'd see her pretty frequently, and then all of a sudden she just disappeared. So I don't know if they moved or what, but she doesn't come around anymore. So then from our front entrance, you can turn to the left and you'll see the sidewalk going back to the neighbor's house and then back to the backyard. It's super funny. There's like a sidewalk to the backyard with a gate, but then there's no fence. So that leads you into the backyard, completely open for anyone to come reside in. I say that because that shed over in the right hand corner, yeah, a homeless person was living in there. That's happened a few times actually. Luckily I never saw it because I would have been so terrified, but our neighbors have seen somebody like coming in and out of there, and it's terrifying. Not only that, but out of that shed someone stole our neighbor's bikes. So we're just in a really great spot, and they busted the door because I think it did have a lock on it, and it is completely busted. There's no fixing that door, and nobody puts anything in there of any value anymore. We used to put like our spare key in there and our bikes, and now we're like, nope, someone's living in there, someone's stealing our crap, and it is not okay. The yard was actually really nice overall. It was very big. The grass wasn't like nice or anything, but they had dug out a little hole in the ground to be like a fire pit, and then some of the neighbors would have like a garden back there, and it was really fun. We would do a lot of stuff during the summers. Occasionally my husband and I are kind of loners and we just hang out in our house, but every so often it was fun to kind of like use the backyard during the summers. So then back around to the front of the house, you see the front door. Now it is disgusting. There's like holes in it, and this is kind of a good idea of what the whole house looks like. But this isn't the actual front door. This is just kind of like an entryway to the apartment building. So you see the front door, and then you open that, and then we have to go up the stairs to get to our front door. Now these stairs are nasty and terrifying, especially in the dark. You'd have to walk in and it would be pitch black, and you'd have to scramble to find the light switch on the side of the wall to go up the stairs without feeling like somebody could be hiding in there trying to kill you. There's all this old wallpaper everywhere, and it's like really gross. And then you're walking up and there's just boxes sitting in this big hole next to the stairs. I don't know who's there. I don't know what they're doing there, but they're there. Now everything is like falling off the walls, and there's like lumps in it that look like there could be aliens living in the walls. Like it is just a weird place. And then finally you come to our front door. Now, for months we were just locking the bottom lock, and then we realized one day we just leaned on the door and it popped right open while the door was locked. So we realized we were not locking our house at all, not even once. So we started to have to use the deadbolt, but the deadbolt is impossible to open. It took both my hands and so much work to try to get that stupid thing unlocked. It was so hard. You walk right in and the kitchen's on the left, and then that opens up into the bedroom, and right in front of you is the bathroom, and then to the right is the living room. So I'll kind of walk you through, I think in that order. And you can see the weird floors that somebody decided to paint blue because the owner doesn't care if you paint, which is kind of fun, but they painted the floors blue and the walls tan, which to me should be reversed. Again, the ugly walls. We never had any issues with like the fridge or anything. That hutch is disgusting. Oh my gosh, I don't know how long it's been there, but I'm gonna guess like 50 years. It's so gross. And then as you can see, there is no other shelves or counters or anything. There's just like one cabinet below the sink. There's one next to the sink. There's the hutch, and that's pretty much it. And so we had to buy a bunch of just like wire racks to put all of our stuff on. And it actually worked really well. It just was so ugly and cluttered all the time because there is no storage. So everything was just exposed, like all of our dishes, all of our appliances, everything was just out all the time. And so it just looked like a disaster. We had some fun times with the sink too. It's kind of one of those sinks that could be so cute if they would fix it up a little bit, but they don't. We had a lot of issues with the sink leaking to the point where the cold water faucet we can't even turn on anymore. In fact, the knob is broken because we tried to twist it so hard to turn it off because it was running and running. We had it overflow a couple times too. Basically, we had stuff in the sink and we didn't realize that the water was running and that it was running so bad, and so we'd come home and it would literally be like overflowing. So finally he just told us we can't use the cold water in the sink in the kitchen. So we only had hot water, which was fine. I mean, you usually want hot water anyways when you're doing dishes and whatnot, but then it would get scalding hot and there was no way to like regulate that at all because you couldn't use any cold water. Like I said, there's no heat or air really. There is a little heater in the corner behind the stove, that black thing, and we never turned it on because we turned it on once and it smelled like burning and we got scared, and so we just didn't use it. We ended up having to buy like little space heaters for our bedroom and the bathroom, and then we had 2 big portable AC unit things for the bedroom and the living room as well, and that worked pretty well for us. It was never very comfortable because it gets really cold here and really hot in the summers too, so it was just always miserable. The first summer we were there, we only had fans. We didn't have AC units. We finally bought one after like a month, but we would wake up in the morning with literal imprints of our body, sweat marks on the bed. You could literally see the outline of how we were sleeping in sweat. It was so hot and so disgusting. You go into our room, and our room was actually pretty nice. The carpet was fairly new. The room was painted like a nice kind of calm green color, which was good. And then it came with this super ugly old dresser that was really kind of hard to use, but convenient to have, I guess. And then the closet was like handmade, I guess, and it was open all the time too, which was really not cute. There was also this weird little desk area that was like open as well, so sometimes I do my makeup there. We also had our TV on that little desk. It just always kind of looked like a disaster. So we had our bed there in the center of the room. We never had a headboard or anything because we knew this place wasn't permanent. We didn't want to like invest in cute things while we were here because it just can't be cute no matter how hard you try. So we would just kind of sit up in bed, and during the summers it was hot enough that the paint, as you can see, was sliding off the walls. You could literally put your hand on the wall and push the paint around because it was so hot. So that's what all those little patch marks are. Then we had a lot of times when it was snowing or raining that we would have leaks in the ceiling. You can see a lot of the paint or wallpaper or whatever is on the ceiling is coming down a little bit, and it would be pouring in from multiple spots, like raining so hard, so we'd have to use buckets and towels and everything to clean it up. And it's hard because we were gone all day, so we didn't always catch it until the night, and so it would get pretty floody. Okay, so then you walk around the corner and then we go into the bathroom. Now it had these weird red floors and then blue walls, of course, something super crazy. There was no mirror in the bathroom. Just one of those, you know those mirrors that you hang on the back of your doors that are full length but they're pretty small? They just had one of those pasted up on the wall sideways, and it was above my head. I could not even see. I could see like from my eyeballs up. And then they had this little wire rack hanging next to the shower, and then this sink with the weird little curtain on it. And I would always say the sink reminds me of the Chamber of Secrets from Harry Potter. You know, the sink faucet that looks all like nasty and rusted and whatnot. And the black spot is from the hot water because it would get like literally boiling hot and burn like a hole into the actual sink. And then, yeah, pretty small, pretty average, whatever. The tub you would think would be really nice, but it was nasty enough we couldn't like actually take baths in it, which was really sad because I was like, oh, what a cute little clawfoot tub. No. And then we put up some clamps around the shower head to like hold it up in place, and that's how we would shower. And there was no like ventilation in there or anything, so we had shower curtains on both sides of the showers, and it would not really like air out that well, and so they got gross. I'm really glad actually that we threw all this stuff away before you're seeing this video. I was just so embarrassed to have anybody see our living conditions because it makes you look like you are gross when it's not you, it's just the apartment, if that makes sense. It was very upsetting. Okay, so then you leave the bathroom and you come over into the living room. The living room was this fun cave-like cherry red that made the room look super small and dark. I hated it. I wanted to paint it since we moved in, but I figured, you know, why spend the $80 to repaint when we can just spend that on something better? You know, the room's not gonna look good anyway. The weird part about the paint in here too is I think it was painted over wallpaper, so you can like see the wallpaper like crinkling and everything underneath. Super funny. The light in here was very off center in the room. I don't think I have a video of that, but it was one of those like chain pull light bulbs, and it was just a single light bulb, and it was over on the like left side of the room, and it was super useless. And the storage closets were pretty useless as well. I mean, Zach would hang his clothes in here, but there wasn't a lot of room. The second one was just like random crap that we had stored. Super gross looking. And I swear this is after we had deep cleaned it. it just always looks like it's falling apart and nasty. It's super hard to clean too, because like the wood on everything is like chipping. Even the baseboards, I was trying to like dust and clean the baseboards, and it would be like splintering off all over the place, and so it made it even more of a mess. It's just crazy. But yeah, this room is where I took a couple clients when I was doing aesthetics. I did all my videos out here towards the end of, like, for the last few months that we lived here. It was basically just a storage room. Like, honestly, we didn't use it for anything. The other thing we were fortunate enough to have is giant spiders in our house. Like, this big around spiders, like huge. And the first one we found was in our sink in our bathroom. It was disgusting and terrifying. And then from there, they were on our bed. They were in the closet. They were all just on the floor, like everywhere. It was disgusting and terrifying. We also saw mouse poop. We never saw mice in there, but we did see mice poop. And it was awful. And Zach is just as scared of spiders as I am, maybe even more so, especially the big ones. Like, I'm terrified. And I think that they're like poisonous or something. So that's even more scary. So yeah, that is basically it. Then you walk out and you say goodbye to this place forever, because it was the worst. We moved into that place right when we got married, so almost 3 years we lived there, and it was a time. It was an adventure. We honestly really liked it. I mean, we have funny memories there now. It was a great experience, and plus it was very affordable. So we saved a lot of money. We were able to pay for Zach's school really well, but we got to the point where we were like, done. Like, it is time to move on and be in a real life home type of place. So we're in this nice new brand new beautiful apartment, and we have more space and storage, and it's great. And so we're really grateful, especially coming from the old apartment to what we have now. We're super appreciative of being able to live here, being able to afford it, and just the fact that we found this great place. I think that's everything that I wanted to say. I know this was a little bit of a different video, but I thought it'd be fun to share just because it was such a weird part of my life. I hope you liked this video. I can't wait to show you our new place. I do need to do a little bit more like organizing, cleaning, decorating before I want to do any of that too in depth, but I think it'll be really fun. Thumbs up this video if you enjoyed hearing about our crazy apartment, and I'll see you in my next video.